So glad you could be with us still in the Garden of Gethsemane. And Jesus has shown his authority twice. First of all, he said, I am he, when they asked for Jesus of Nazareth, and they fell back to one knee. And then he told them, let the other guys go, and they did. And so look at the authority that he has. Now, you might remember that they had two swords, the disciples did. When Jesus was talking about now, it's time if anybody has a sword to buy one. And they said, here are two swords. He said, that's enough. In other words, you don't get it. Okay. Well, what was he talking about when he said that? He was talking about, I did not come to bring peace but a sword, because I've come to divide one family member against another family member. And one's enemies will be those of his own household, because that's what the gospel does. It unites Christians into one body, but it divides Christians from non-Christians. And sometimes non-Christians really, really don't like it at all. And so Jesus was saying, now it's the last day of his life here on earth. He's going to be crucified the next morning. Guys, the sword's coming. You know, I'm about to provide the gospel by being crucified and resurrected, and there's going to be a great division among people. And the disciples didn't get it. Now, among all of the disciples, I'm not real sure who would have sword number 2, but you could guess who would have sword number 1. Peter. You know, Peter. Absolutely. Always charging into things, always aggressive. So he's got one. And here's the reason we know that. After 2 demonstrations of his power and authority, Peter says, okay, it's time. He said, sword. Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's slave and cut off his right ear. He was trying to cut off his whole head, and the slave ducked. Cut off his right ear. And then John says, we know who the guy was. The slave's name was Malchus. So Jesus said to Peter, put the sword in the sheath. You know, Peter, you're wrong again. Then he says, the cup which the Father has given me, shall I not drink it? Remember when he said, I have the authority to lay my life down, and I have the authority to take it up again. And the next phrase is, this commandment I received from my Father. The cup that Jesus was supposed to drink was his mission. He was sent, what? Mark 10:45, not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. They weren't taking his life. He demonstrated that. And then Peter, well, it's wartime, you know, let's cut off some heads. No, my Father has given me a cup to drink, and I'm about to do that. So, the cup which my Father gave me, shall I not drink it? So this was prophesied. It was commanded by the Father for the Son to do, and the Son was being absolutely obedient. Not because he had to, because he wanted to, because he loves us. Have a wonderful day.